Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Lunch Bites with Coach Don and Coach LaDondra with LaDondraHervey.com. Y'all, we have just a nice little bite for lunch for you today as we are talking about becoming powerful beyond belief, redefining success to become powerful beyond belief. Did you know that you're powerful beyond belief? Like so many times we don't even realize that the power that we possess on the inside of us, it outweighs every thought, every belief, everything that we could even imagine, because we have the power of the Holy Spirit working within us. And so, if we have the power of the Holy Spirit working within us, what limits do we have besides the ones that we placed on ourselves? So today we're going to be talking about a little bit of all of that, a little bit of all of that. It's like a good sandwich that you put a little bit of some of everything in there. We're talking about it all. And I want us to start with discussing some of the labels that we've put on ourselves. How many of us have put some labels on ourselves that we just kind of it just happened that way, right? Like, I'm not good enough, I'm stupid, I'm a procrastinator, I'm an overthinker, I'm an overachiever, I am determined. Like, some of those are positive, some of those are negative. But let me tell you, we just wrapped up in our purpose workshop last week, and we were talking about like how those things can kind of show up for us and cause us to be in a people pleasing behavior or a performance based behavior. And so I want to kind of, Coach Don and I are going to kind of unravel what those look like, because once you put those labels on yourself, it really causes you to play underneath your God-given potential. It causes you to hide. It causes you not to shine in your light. And guess what? One of those principles of the Bible tells us that we are the light of the world, like a city set on a hilltop. No one has a light and go and hides it under a basket. Instead, they place it on a lampstand for all to see. Y'all, if you're putting those labels on yourself, like, I'm a procrastinator, you're going to put your light under a basket and you're not going to show up for your call. If you're saying I'm an overthinker, guess what you're going to find yourself doing? Overthinking and study, like behind the computer, researching and thinking and perfecting and all these type things. What about I'm stupid? If you feel like you're stupid, then guess what? You're not going to show your face to the public, because guess what? They're going to judge me for what I don't know, because I am stupid. I'm not smart enough. Again, I'm not going to show my face so they can judge me. No. And guess what? Coach Don just brought mine to me. See, mine. Look, that was because anything that, a lot of times we think of some of the ones where it's like, okay, that's a positive. Like, let's go get it. And that's what I told her. I was like, what are my labels? And I'm like, I'm determined. Like, period. Let's go get it. And she was like, well, what are some of the things? She's real calm, y'all. Well, what are some of what are some of the things that where that could be like a negative for you or something like that? And I'm like, nothing. Go get it. And so she was like, well, if anything done, like, you could probably find yourself in a performance based behavior. I was like, ooh, yeah, that's right. And that was one of the confessions that I made in the Facebook group when we did the purpose workshop, is that that's something that I have to continually keep in check, is making sure I don't fall in performance based behavior, that I am always continually checking myself, saying, hey, am I performing for man or am I performing for God? And even before any of my calls or my speaking engagements, I'm like, Lord, help me to sit down as you stand up, because that helps me to stay in check. And I'm not performing for man, but I am standing in the position and the authority for God. And so even those positive things can turn into a negative if done with extreme. Like they say, you can be eating great fruits and vegetables, but if you eat too many, that's that can cause a hindrance. Like, too many fruits, it can spike your sugar levels up. And so everything has to be done with good moderation. What's your thoughts there, Coach Don?
I love your vulnerability to share that, because we were talking and I was like going into the negative words, and then she was like, and then I said, what about the flip side, the positive words? She's like, well, what's wrong with those? I'm like, well, let's see. But you're right. When we put labels on ourselves, And you know what? Sometimes it's not us putting the labels on ourselves, it's others around us that have put those labels on us, right? These labels we've heard over and over again from our family or our friends, oh, you're so lazy when you won't get out of bed as a teenager. Well, heck, you're just a teenager, that's just the way it is. But, there's these things that you hear and they just stick to you, right? They stick with you. And then you start believing those labels that have been put on you. And that's not serving you well, right? Overthinker, that's my confession, big overthinker. And I would sit behind a research and make sure I had everything right. It had to look perfect before I put it out there. And my accountability group was like, you need to go. You need to jump, you need to put it out there. It doesn't have to be perfect, just go. So it took a lot to overcome that. But you know what, when it's brought to your attention and when you're made aware of your labels, that's when you can start to release those labels and see, what is serving me, what is holding me back. And I love the part where, you talk about I'm not smart enough, I'm stupid, all those things, and showing up. You may show up, but you may show up and keep your mouth closed. And that doesn't do anybody any good either, because if Jesus had kept his mouth closed,
Mm.
what would have happened, right? He was bold enough and brave enough to go out there because you know what? What was his label? I'm just a carpenter. I'm just Joseph and Mary's son, right? If he would have attached himself to those labels and not sat with God, his Father in heaven, and known what his assignment was for him, he would have stayed stuck. We would have had some beautiful carpentry from a man named Jesus, and that's it. But he stepped out. He broke free from those labels. He knew he was called for more. He knew he had a purpose. He was called to be powerful beyond belief. And he went and did that. And so, guys, if you're
Mm.
stuck with these labels, you've got to disassociate. You've got to detach from those labels because they're not serving you. That's what I have to say. Back to you.
No, I love that. And I have some things to say. I want to say first, good morning, Yolanda, and good morning to whoever gave us hearts. I don't know your name, but good morning, everyone.
We've got
Um,
Lynn watching. Hey, Lynn. We
good
got
morning, Lynn.
Tamisha. Hey, Tamisha.
Hi,
There we go.
Misha. Okay, so with those things and what you said, Dawn, you're right. There's the external labels and there's the internal labels. So those ones that you referred to with Jesus, those were external labels, but he chose not to subscribe to those labels. And he chose to stand in his power and his authority as a son and as the chosen one. And the same is true for us. I will say that as you were talking, one of the labels that came up for me, because I was like really thinking, like, what are my labels that I've placed on myself? And one of those is the responsible one. That and it's true, like I am the responsible one. But again, one anything that's taken into excessive belief, or it can turn into something bad, because it's like you feel like you're responsible for everyone else, and sometimes that can be at the detriment of your own well-being. And so you really have to check those things. It's not necessarily just the negative ones. It's those ones that the world is, they celebrate. It's the ones that the world celebrate as well, that will make us be like, oh, wait a minute, like I'm doing good, I'm determined, I'm overachiever, I'm like, and it's like, wait a minute, hold on, girl, like I need you to bring it back, like, and really check in with yourself to see, is it at a healthy level? Because
Right.
things need to be at a healthy level. And so I just wanted to bring that forth, because for those of you who are maybe struggling and say, okay, what is my label? And the last thing I'll say is that even though the world can put labels on us, the biggest battle is the one that we have from the inside. And so in becoming powerful beyond belief and stepping into that your divine power and authority, it's really releasing the lies of the enemy and releasing the lies of that other people have told you, and getting to a healthy position to where it's like, you know what, I don't have to to that anymore. And the way that you do that is that you have to confront those beliefs. And I talk about this in my book, Powerful Beyond Belief, about belief confrontation. And so, with belief confrontation, I'm going to read it directly from the book because I want you to get the full part of this. This is page 59 of it for those of you who have the book. It says that belief confrontation is vital to your growth because it helps you determine if your old belief system is continuing to bring you value. And so when you go and you have to you do this belief confrontation, you have to really look at it and say, okay, so I'm believing that I'm stupid. Okay. Why did you believe that initially? Why did you believe that you were stupid initially? So now you're confronting it, right? And you're looking at it in the face, and you're starting to create a new awareness. Well, maybe when you were younger, you believed that you were stupid, because when you were in class, like you and raise your hand and ask, to for a question or whatever, and you got it wrong, and the class said you were stupid. Or perhaps you were smart and you didn't want to get the answer wrong. You had fear of getting the answer wrong. And so you never showed up to answer the question. And so you were like, I'm not going to say nothing, because what if they perceive that I'm stupid? But you never gave yourself an opportunity to allow your light to shine in that situation. And so you just started to place a label on yourself that, oh, I am stupid. And well, what happens is that you start to use that as a protective mechanism. I'm stupid so that I'm not being rejected, and I want to be accepted instead of rejected. And so you have to really come to a place that, like, is that really true? Is that really true? Because I may have used that when I was younger to protect myself so that I wouldn't get made fun of or whatever the case is. But now I'm going to confront that, and I'm going to say that, hey, that belief no longer brings me value. Because if you don't confront it to see that if it no longer brings you value, you'll continue to repeat that over and over and over, and you'll keep on believing that lie because, again, it's already created a root on the inside of you. And and it hasn't been uprooted. You got to think of it like a weed that has grown deep in your garden, the garden of your mind. And we know weeds can get out of control. Like, they can get really, really, really deeply rooted. If you think about it, in a garden, we've seen some big ones in ours. And so you really got to pull it up. And so part of that belief confrontation is you really getting to the root of it. And you're really like getting ready to pull that thing up. You're pulling that lie up out of your mind so that you can really get into a position where you're saying, no, like, I'm no longer that no longer has any value. It no longer is protecting me. It's no longer serving me. What it's doing now, see, part of confrontation is see where you are, and then where you're trying to go, and what it's keeping you from. And so what it's keeping you from, you believing the lie that you're stupid, is keeping you from showing up fully in your business, and it's keeping you fully from showing up and allowing your light to be seen, and you putting out that intellectual property that you've been called to put out there through your courses and your membership and your book and all the great things that God has destined for you. But you don't even want to show up to write the book because I'm stupid. Why would I write a book? Who would want to listen to me? Because, and like, again, I'm stupid. And so you really have to check those things at the front door because, again, we don't want to put our light underneath the basket. And so I just wanted to say those things there. And so when you kind of get from that place, then you can move into the next place. And we'll go to the next step here in a moment. But I just want to let Coach Dawn weigh in on anything that she has.
As you're talking, LaDondra, you talked about writing a book, and you wrote this phenomenal book. So you guys, if you haven't gotten her book yet, let me get it in here. It's amazing. You want to get that. But let me also share with my book, right? So this is a book I got to write a chapter of, and my name is down here somewhere in one of these. We have 25 women from 6 countries across, the world. And what I can tell you is that I would have never considered writing a book or even a chapter of a book, because back in middle school, I had a teacher tell me that, you know what, writing is not your forte. And that stuck with me. That was a label she put on me, right? And it's because whatever assignment that I had to turn in, she didn't think was good enough. And so I carried that label with me, and I had to really confront that belief as I became an entrepreneur, as I stepped out and started writing content, for blogs and social media and things like that. And then what happened was, because sometimes it's hard for you to confront those beliefs on your own, I got in a group of women, thousands of women that were from everywhere, every walk of life, but they were so encouraging. They were so uplifting. They were so like, no, that's not who you are. That is not going to stay with you any longer. Like, come on, let's write this book together and put it out in the world, and we can become a best-selling author, right? And that's what we did. And so, whatever labels you have that maybe you're just like, you just can't even imagine going forward without that label, but it's really not serving you, that's when it's time to find that tribe of women who say, you know what? That's not your label, sis. That's not from God. That is not where you're supposed to stay. And we're going to help you break through that so that you can look in the mirror and you can confront it on your own with our help to say, you know what? You're right. I don't need to carry that with me anymore. I'm ready to throw that down and walk forward, and we're going to support you and encourage you and make sure that that label went, because it's going to come back. Let me just be honest, it's going to come back. It's going to keep trying to attach itself to you, right? And you're just going to keep having to fight it off until it just becomes like, no, I'm completely done with that. So we'll be there with you in that fight, but you've got to confront it. I love that part in your book, LaDondra, that you talk about that, because you're right. Those things do not serve us anymore. And we need to move forward in a place of authority and love and release. And like you said, rooting out that weed, it's time to root it out. And sometimes you need a tool, right, to dig down deep and get the roots and everything. Because sometimes you just pull it out at the top. Well, the roots are still down there, and they're going to come back next season, right? And they're going to blossom again. That's what I keep talking about. It's going to come back and come back. So, you know what? Sometimes you need a tool to help get into the deep. So,
Yeah, I love that, Coach Don. And it's interesting that that was a label that they put on you, your teacher put on you, because literally, and on our team, you're the one where I'm like sending you stuff, and I'm like, read it, make sure everything is good. Um, because I have like the vision and the strategy and stuff, but then I write in flow and freedom, and I'm like, okay, is that good? And moving on. But it's so important for us, like you say, to uproot those roots that we have connected and attached ourselves to. And I was looking up while Coach Don was talking about it, made me think about Hebrews 12 and 1, where it says, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses to the life of faith, let us strip off every weight that slows us down, especially the sins that so easily trips us, and let us run with endurance the race that God has set before us. Let us strip off every weight. So those labels can become that weight that it's robbing us of the opportunity to step into our power and our purpose, because we've subscribed to something that really we were not destined to step into or to subscribe to, or whatever the case is. And so we really have to make sure that we are not walking in that vein. And so I want to just kind of start to wrap us up here with, on page 62 of my book, it says, to successfully replace the old belief system, you must make sure that the reward of the new thought, which is truth. So you want to replace the lie with truth. So the reward of the new thought is greater than the pain of the old thought, which is the lie. So the reward of the new thought has to be greater than the pain of the old thought. So what is the reward of you stepping out of the lie of believing that you're stupid, you're too much? I just heard the other day someone tell me that they felt like they were just too much. Too much of what? Maybe who said that? Who said you were too much? And perhaps the person who said that, then perhaps that they want to be more, but they're afraid to be that. And so, you have to watch out what people are saying, because maybe you need to be a lot more of that for the people who resonate with your message and your mission and all the things. And so, the reward of stepping into the truth is that you get to stand in your power, stand in your authority, stand in your calling as the business owner that you've been called to be, and create a legacy impact, provide for your family, and overflow financially. You can live from a place of freedom, where your identity is not attached to what man in the world has to say, but it's attached to who God has called you to be as daughter. And so you're walking in the truth of authority and access. You are a royal priesthood, a chosen nation. And so you're walking in the authority of that. So the reward has to be bigger. And so when you can see that the reward is bigger, you'll look at that word stupid and you're like, no, girl, like, I don't got time to play with you no more. Like, and so one of the things that you can do as you're redefining, y'all, I don't do good with the mirror version thing, because I'm thinking I'm supposed to go this way with my hair. Hold on. See, I'm still okay. Woo, Jesus. All right. See, look. All right. One of the things that you can do is to redefine success is, first of all, recognize what is truth. So if you're not stupid, or if you're not a procrastinator, or if whatever, redefine what is truth, right? And one of the ways that you can do that, because you may still find yourself feeling like, oh, I'm lazy, or I really do overthink things, then you can just really go and ask yourself some questions and say, why am I overthinking things? Is it because I am, there's a fear attached to this? What type of fear is attached to it? Is it a fear of being seen? Is it a fear of being rejected? And start to deal with those. Because, see, as you ask the questions, it helps you to get to the root of the thing. Because, see, the behavior of procrastinating, that's just a symptom, it's not the root. And so you really have to identify what is the root of that symptom. And once you can do that, now you can start to pluck up some things, and now you can start to replace that with truth. And so when you replace that with truth, now you get to redefine what success looks like, and you can create a new empowered vision. So if I wasn't stupid, if I wasn't an overthinker, I would be doing what? I would be standing in my royal position doing what? Shining in my lane, serving clients at a higher level, putting my value out there in a way where people resonate with them. I'll be serving at a deeper capacity. I would be networking, and whatever the case is, you get to redefine that, create a new story, and then take your time and give yourself grace to step into that new story. You can give yourself grace to step into that new story by you literally reading that new empowered vision every day, like, I am this. And the more that you say that I am this, you start to strengthen and develop a new root, a new healthy root that is attached to the empowered, powerful, beyond belief version of yourself. And you can start to step into that with a new level of authority, a new level of confidence, and a new level of courage that's going to drive you towards your goal and the legacy impact that you're desiring to create. And so, Coach Don, I'll pass that over to you as we get ready to wrap things up.
Absolutely. You know what, you guys, your words are power. And so let your words be what you want and not what you don't want. Okay. So where your focus goes, energy flows. So you guys, a little life hack or whatever. I've got note cards here. I have all these things on them, right? So obedience, discipline, stuff like that is something that I'm called to really pay attention to for myself. This one says, I have supernatural discipline to finish what I start. Guys, these are on my desk and I look at them and I'm like, okay, what do I need to see today, God? Because I'm not feeling it, right? So definitely use what you can, use the tools around you, guys. This book is a tool. You know what? Our group, our Woke Next Level mastermind group is a tool, but you have tools that you can use as well. y'all, we all have the ultimate tool, which is God, right? Go to God and ask Him to help you to remove those labels, help you to see what you can't see currently, help you to ask Him to help you strip that away, uproot that weed, and, go forth in your brilliance and shine. Shine, 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 sis. It's time for all of us to shine because He's called us to be that light on the hill, the city on the hill with the light. So I always think of a lighthouse, bringing the boats in, like, here we are. Don't hit the shore. Watch out. So I love that. But Coach Ladondra, what do we have for the people today? What do we want to wrap it up with?
Okay, you guys, if you find yourself in that place to where you're like, you know what, I've been in this place where I'm tired of living below my God-given potential and I'm ready to step into that next level of purpose and that next level of destiny for my life, then I want to recommend that you grab my not only the Powerful Beyond Belief book, but then I want you to grab the 6 week course. I have a 6 week course that is associated with the book, and it's going to walk you through step by step, where you're going to create a new awareness of those beliefs that you've been holding on to. And you're going to be able to confront those. You're going to create some new belief anchors. It's so many things. This is like a little manual that you're walking through, where it's like you're able to take the actions that you need to take so that you can uproot those. And then you're going to be able to reconcile, because it's one thing to create an awareness, but then it's a whole nother thing to reconcile. And that's where you're coming into agreement with truth and what God says about you, and establish a new belief and establish a new direction. You'll be able to prune the people and the things that are not serving you. And I mean, learn how to hear God. There's a chapter on learning how to hear God and waking up to your God-given calling, and so that you can stop serving other people's mission and step into your mission and your destiny. And then the third piece is creating alignment, the alignment that Christ ordained from you from the beginning. And so create alignment to your assignment. And so if you've been in this place where you're stuck and you're ready, like, to get released, uproot those roots of lies that's no longer serving you, grab the book Powerful Beyond Belief. It's on Amazon. You'll be able to just type that in, Powerful Beyond Belief, LaDondra Hervey, or I highly recommend you doing both. With the book, you'll get a PDF version of the book off in the Powerful Beyond Belief course, and Coach Don just put the link in the chat. You will get that, plus the 6 week course modules, and there's bonus trainings in there as well. Like if you found yourself in the expert trap of comparing yourself, or a lot of other things, you're gonna walk out of that so free. And so if you are needing that assistance, then I recommend that you do that. If you have questions about it or you're having issues, just DM us. But y'all, it's time to step into that next level of power, authority, and your divine assignment. It's time to quit playing games. There are people out there who need what you have on the inside of you, and we can't afford for you to be hiding behind those labels anymore and allowing the enemy to rob you of your destiny. He comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And what he can't kill, steal, and destroy, he's going to distract you, and he's going to throw you into a place of distraction and hopelessness. And so I want you to jump out of that place and activate a greater level of faith to walk in your purpose as we're doing this. Wait, I was going to say divine, the Powerful Beyond Belief course. So I think that wraps us up, y'all. I hope that y'all are encouraged by this lunch bite that we have put together for you as you are redefining success to become powerful beyond belief. Y'all have a blessed day. Bye.